Only thing I've never had to worry about with you is making money. And he's like, so this should be interesting. And I was like, wow, this is really great. And I think that it's just a little out of touch. It's impactful in your life.
Yes. And you become a corporate America success story through your expertise in building brands.
I was in every cool city in the nation. And while that sounds very, very glamorous, I was just exhausted. And I'm like, if I'm stressed now, what does that look like? People want me to be something else. And I think there's people that maybe don't want to like me.
Welcome back to our Real Producers podcast with our March cover feature, Mandy Mancini with the MANCINI Group, Keller Williams Consultants Realty. It is such an honor to have her with us today, Mandy. Thank you so much for joining us and allowing us to share your story.
Thank you. I love sitting down with you. So anytime.
Mandy is someone who, in my career, I've been doing this for 7 years. I kind of have some highlight folks in my and all of the features we've done in the 7 years I've been doing this, and you are definitely a highlight. So, fun fact, I kind of had to work Mandy for, I don't know, a year or maybe.
It was probably more. It was great. Yeah, it's perfect.
Well, let's start with your actual journey in real estate. So, a dozen years ago, you were a trailblazer in the beauty industry, and you become a corporate America success story through your expertise in building brands. Makes sense. But although you had an exciting and enviable career, you had reached an obstacle. You were thoroughly burnt out. And the best way, you say, to re-energize would be to choose a new career.
So it's so funny because I had always said, for whatever reason, like, I'm going to do real estate one day. And even for like the years leading up to me leaving corporate America, I kept trying to figure out, like, can I do classes on the weekends? But I was traveling. We used to joke, like, I had a rock star like tour schedule. I was in 3 different cities a week. I was in beauty and grooming. So like things that were in Sephora and Ulta, and Sephora and Ulta were growing at that time by leaps and bounds. And so during that time period, Sephora was going into only major metropolitan. I was in every cool city in the nation, in the Caribbean. I mean, it was, and while that sounds very, very glamorous, I was alone all the time. I was eating room service. I was overworked. I mean, I was just exhausted. And so I just was so burnt out. And I remember the company that I was with, I had like pivoted into the natural sector a little bit. And the company was built as basically a tax write-off for this Indian billionaire. So when it was coming to an end, he just was like, we're shutting down, just like one day, all of a sudden. And so they gave us a severance package. And I remember I was interviewing and talking to people, and I got a job offer for more money than I ever thought I would make in corporate America. And I was like, wow, this is really great. And I was so anxious about taking this job. And I'm like, everything in me is telling me not to do this. And I deserve to listen to myself. And I kept thinking of like these women that I loved and respected in this industry that were, above me. My next step would have been like CEO or VP. And I'm like, if I'm stressed now, what does that look like? And also just like what they had given up for these brands. And I'm like, wait, why don't I build my own brand? Like, I was so sick of like saying a brand name every day more than I said my own name. And I just thought, well, I deserve better. I remember my dad said, okay, let's see what you can do. The only thing I've never had to worry about with you is making money. And he's like, so this should be interesting.
So Mandy, when it comes to building a brand, I have to ask you, is one of your things that you focus on evoking a particular emotion?
I mean, it's funny because for a long time, all we talked about was like luxury. And I think that actually can be a little isolating. So what we're actually leaning into now is, yes, like the luxury aesthetic, of course, because a lot of our, clients and price point are that, but a luxury experience, and we want to feel very approachable. So instead of being, maybe this like cool girl aesthetic that doesn't land with everybody, we actually want to be like the nice girl aesthetic, the approachable
that's so
aesthetic.
Good. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
And it's broader
And I just think the other part is not who we are. And I think that it's just a little out of touch, because luxury, and it's so funny because I've been quoted saying this and now I feel like it's a little bit of people's taglines, but it is an experience. And like, no matter if you're buying a $150,000 house, you should feel like that major life move is an experience. And you should feel that it's at the level of the $1 million home, the $2 million home, whatever that might be, because it is special. Every single time you buy property or you make a move like that, it's impactful in your life.
Yes.
It is a huge stepping stone. So we want to make sure that everyone is feeling that same vibe from us and that we don't feel unapproachable. I hate when someone calls me and says, well, you probably don't sell things like this. Absolutely we do. We want to sell for everyone and everything. And yes, our sweet spot is this upper level, and that's how we deliver. We want everyone to want to work with us.
What I love about what you do, and it is a niche, part of the business. You focus on luxury market buyers and sellers. Located through Central Ohio. You say the Airbnb sector is a huge part of your business, and we work with a lot of developers. So is that something that did you just naturally progress into that space, or because there's a learning curve with that particular sector of the market?
Honestly, I didn't think I ever would want to do development. It's so stressful. There's a lot of front load. It's just, I think people think they want to work to get to that point, but it's just an interesting world. And honestly, my first development project, I did it because I wanted to beat somebody. I know that sounds so terrible, but that's just being super candid, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
I also love how you highlight your beautiful team and just how you all work together in such a synergistic way. And I know that that's very important to you. Would you share with me when you got to a point in your career where you were like, I need to build a team, and how you kind of landed in that area?
So I had left a team doing major volume, like 30 to 40 million on my own. And I wasn't set up for success. I had to hire my own assistant. I just had to build this thing around me to support what I was doing because I didn't have that support. And I had always been helping other agents, and it just kind of organically started to happen. And then now it's so fine-tuned that I would walk through fire for these people and with these people every single day.
And I think sometimes people create their own perceptions about what Mandy Mancini must be like. And then they talk to you like, oh, you've heard this, I think, more than once. You're nothing like I thought you were going to be. Would you kind of give me your thoughts on that?
Just being hardcore or being difficult or whatever these words are that get attached to us. And it's so interesting because I hear it about myself all the time. I've had people be like, oh yeah, Mandy's a pit bull. And I'm like, honestly, if you've had a pit bull, you know that I actually am a pit bull, but I choose to be something different now and to lead. And that really trickles down onto my team, which is amazing. And I think people want me to be something else. And I think there's people that maybe don't want to like me. But I'm just nice.
Yeah, I know you're pretty likable.
I just want to be kind, and I want to be good. And I think if that bothers you, that's okay.
So Mandy, let's talk about how you love to cook. Do you have some recipes or go-to recipes, style of cooking?
So it's funny, I kind of am just a wing it type of person. So I cannot bake at all because you have to follow a recipe and you have to measure. So I'm very much like a taste person, a little this and a little that. And I have always liked to cook. The way I learned to cook, I would sit on the counter and watch my dad cook at night or on the weekend. My dad, he is Italian, so he had all the old recipes. So I literally learned by sitting there and watching, and I would talk about my day or whatever it was. And so what a cool thing.
Yeah.
I was spending this time with my dad, learning to cook, learning some of these old recipes that have been in my family for a really, really long time. I don't really cook that way now, but I love food. I love to eat probably more than anything. That's actually like the big driver.
Can you share with me a go-to recipe? I'm genuinely curious.
So it's funny, like in the wintertime, if, I don't know, if you have a baby or like I deliver food or something, like I always make a pot pie. And it's so good. And it's just like, I just started to wing it one day and I deliver it with Tabasco and honey because that mix is so good, or hot honey you can do too. But yeah, we make it homemade and with stuff that I like in it. So I hate peas, so there's no peas in it. We do like mushrooms and corn and it's so yummy and it's from scratch.
So what about the crust?
So we get like an organic like puff pastry crust.
Yes.
And we just do that on the top and not on the bottom. So it's like a little bit healthier. And we use, good milk, organic, from the farm milk or cream, bone broth.
Yep.
It's kind of a zhuzhed up recipe, so it's so good. I love like doing those chores with my husband on the weekend. Like we have so much fun together and like it just feels normal and good. And so I know that sounds silly, but I just kind of like living life. Like I love to be home. I'm such a homebody and like the simple things matter the most to me.
Yeah. Love that. Well, Mandy, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. Do you have any closing thoughts before we kind of wrap it up?
I appreciate your friendship. I really just, you're so good at what you do. And I think you're such an asset to our community, just in general in real estate. And I just really appreciate you and everything that you stand for.
Thank you so much, Mandy. That means the world to me. It's a privilege to do this. So